Sports.
We are the Fourth. We are Ohio.
Well, it's been a mostly cloudy day today in Milwaukee. With that in mind, they have the roof closed tonight at Miller Park. Game 2 of this 3-game series between the Cincinnati Reds and the Milwaukee Brewers. And hi again, everybody. Alongside the Cowboy, Jeff Brantley and Jeff Picoro, I'm Tom Brenneman. Welcome, as always, to Reds baseball. All right, Cowboy, you're a guy who was a reliever most of your career. You did get some starts. Michael Lorenzen, tonight's pitcher, has been primarily a reliever since starting his career as a starting pitcher. What's he focused on in his first start in 2 years tonight?
I think, Tom, for Michael coming into this ball game, you have to have in your mind, I'm going to go as hard as I can for as long as I can. If you try to do it any other way and you try to save something for later, you may never get to later. So for Lorenzen tonight, he's going to go hard and he'll go out there as long as he can. 66 pitches, that's the most he's thrown this year in one game.
All right, if you're the Brewers, are you more worried about Michael Lorenzen, the pitcher, or the batter?
Well, I would say the batter in a pinch hit opportunity, but for tonight's ball game, you wonder how many at-bats Michael Lorenzen will actually get. If the Reds have a big offensive flurry early, maybe he'll get 2 at the most.
3 of his 4 home runs this year have come against this Milwaukee Brewers team. How about that? All right, speaking of home runs, can there possibly be a more devastating force against Reds pitching this season than what we have seen from the amazing Christian Yelich?
It seems like every time you turn around, whether it's Thames, whether it's Braun, and now it's Yelich, it just happens to come in a Brewer uniform. But I just could not believe the cycle 2 times in 5 games. How does that happen?
15 runs batted in the 5 games, and like you said, the cycle's a thing, undoubtedly.
That just tells me that he's seeing the ball well against our guys, and we've got to have a different game plan.
I tell you, the Reds have not seen the ball well against a Milwaukee starter on the other side of the ledger, and that's Chase Anderson.
Well, I think the big thing for Anderson is having an extra day off. It seems like when he's had that 5th day instead of 4 days like a normal routine, his ERA is 3. When he's had a normal routine of 4 days off, the ERA is 4+. Tonight, he's had 4 days off. 5 days off, excuse me.
Well, we'll see how it goes here tonight. The Reds need to get something going offensively. But first things first, the story tonight is Michael Lorenzen. You're going to hear from him about his first starting assignment since 2016 with Jeff Picoro coming up next.
Chevy. Check out our award-winning lineup only at your Tri-State Chevy dealers. And by Skyline Chili. Feeling good? It's Skyline time. Well, the big news, obviously, Michael Lorenzen gets the start tonight. Tyler Malley will not get the start on Sunday. It is most likely Michael Lorenzen's to take on Sunday as well. I was able to talk to him and Jim Riggleman about tonight's start, and Michael is keyed up and raring to go.
I've been in a pretty unique role this year to where I've thrown four and a third, and 4 multiple times, 3 multiple times. I've come into games early, so I mean, it's going to be the same thing, right? So it's just going to be extended for a couple innings, and so I'm just going to do that and rely on the work that I put in when it comes to the scouting and stuff like that to pay off.
We are looking at 19 and who's going to be our starters, and we have an idea who some of them will be, but we will look at Mike here a little bit. We won't. It'd be a very small sample, but get a little feel for it.
Yeah, I think it's been a lot easier with these different jobs that I have to be ready for, to be able to, not think about it as much and not get too, not overthink it. Just keep it simple.
That was obviously our Elk and Elk storyline for tonight and probably the future. Michael Lorenzen, is he a reliever or is he a starter? We shall find out in the next couple of weeks. All right, it is the Red Legs and the Brew Crew. Coming up next, can the Reds offense get going? We'll see. Tom and Jeff have the call after this.
In Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Not quite the crowd we had here last night. That's a big crowd for a Monday night. Over 32,000 on hand. Reds and the Brewers. Reds under Jim Riggleman, 61 up, 72 down since he took over on April the 19th of this year. Let's take a look at his lineup tonight. He'll have Schebler in right, Peraza at short, Votto at first, Jeanette at second, Tucker Barnhart behind the plate, Urban in left, Mason Williams in center field, Brandon Dixon for Suarez down at third, and Michael Lorenzen bats ninth. Starting it for the Milwaukee Brewers, has pitched very well in his career, including 2 of 3 games this year against the Reds, is right-hander Chase Anderson.
Changes speeds well, uses his breaking ball, both curveball and slider within the strike zone, and those are 2 pitches that he'll rely on a lot. Change up as well, but those breaking balls, very difficult to put the ball in play with some semblance of consistency.
Anderson is 30 years young, and tonight start number 30 of the season, the 4th against the Reds. Very good numbers in his 10 starts lifetime against Cincinnati. That 5-1 record and a sparkling 2.9 ERA. Look at the Reds' batting average against Anderson, barely over 200. Here we go. Schebler, first pitch singing, will drop one into left center field, a base hit. That's something that Jeff Piccoro talked a lot about last night. In fact, had a few comments from Schebler about going after the first pitch.
I think this is one of the reasons that Schebler's done better in the leadoff spot than he was doing hitting 5th or 6th in the lineup. In a leadoff spot, he's just up there looking for the first pitch that he can hit. And more times than not, in the beginning of the ball game, it's a fastball, and he's a fastball hitter.
So a very nice start to this one for Schebler 2 days ago. Led off the game against Jose Quintana at Wrigley Field and homered on the first pitch of the game. So now Peraza had the long hitting streak come to an end here last night of 11 games. Nonetheless, has been better than a .400 batter over the last couple of weeks. Leads all major league shortstops in hits, second in the National League to Javier Baez at that position in batting average. And among all National League players, Peraza has the 4th most hits and the 4th most multi-hit games. You do get some of the fresh air in this ballpark. They're able to open the panels out there in left center field and right center field. Very comfortable tonight. 75 degrees. In fact, it's far cooler inside at 67 than 75 outdoors. It's nice they're able to do that. I'm surprised they haven't opened the roof. I had not heard about any rain in the forecast, but who knows? Two and 0 on Peraza. 3 balls, no strikes. Jeremy Rehak behind the plate calling the balls and strikes. The crew chief is Mark Wegner at first, Andy Fletcher at second, John Tumpane the umpire at third. Glad to have you with us on this Tuesday night. Hope all's well with you and yours back in Reds country. Here's a 3-0.
It's interesting how a pitcher thinks a lot of times when you throw a first pitch of the ball game, the guy hits it into left center field, and you've got to second guess yourself. What, do I have it today? Am I throwing the ball good? All of a sudden he goes 3-0 on Peraza.
And that ball is clobbered into left center field by Peraza. Hit very well, and it will fly out of here. Jose Peraza, his 13th home run of the year. And after 2 batters, 2 hits, and 2 runs. That's the way to get it started. Reds have been shut out 2 of the last 3 games. In the other game, they scored twice.
Well, there won't be any shutout tonight. A fastball up, the first fastball that Anderson has left up in the strike zone, and Peraza did not miss it. That is now 30 home runs that Anderson has allowed. That's a boatload of hammers.
Now Joey Votto, the batter, first pitch swinging, rolls it foul up the first base line. 12 home runs, 67 knocked in for Votto, carries a .286 batting average, leads the league in on-base percentage. But he will be retired his first trip tonight. Fly ball to center. Easy out there for Kane. Take a look at the rest of this Milwaukee defense presented by Ford. Yelich and Granderson once more flanking Kane in center. Only one change from last night along the infield. Scope the nod at short. And behind the plate, Manny Pena gets a start. Saw Eric Kratz last night. The league's top 2 hitters. In fact, they're tied. Each hitting .318 coming into play tonight. You have Scooter Gennett of the Cincinnati Reds at .318. And you have that young fella out in left field hitting .318.
Now, I know we're only 4 hitters into this ball game, But it seems like the Reds' game plan here tonight is to jump on Mr. Anderson early as soon as possible. That first pitch fastball, everyone except Peraza has taken a hack at it. And Peraza waited around to get the 3-1 fastball, and he clocked it.
1 ball and 1 strike on Scooter. 22 home runs, 88. Knocked in. Just missed it. Popped it up. Shaw will squeeze it tightly for out number 2. Tucker Barnhart batting in the 5 spot tonight. No Eugenio Suarez. It's a rare day off for him. Suarez just 1 for 13 so far on this road trip. He's been playing virtually every day, every inning, and a day off today. And another first pitch swinger. Driving this ball to left center field is Barnhart. He hit that ball a long way, but Kane able to get it at the track. You called it, Cowboy. They're not waiting around. And Peraza, the one guy who did wait around, cashes in. 2-run big fly. Michael Lorenzen is starting on the mound. Now 3 times this year he's pitched at least 4 innings in relief appearances. His longest stint, Cowboy mentioned 4 1/3, covering nearly 70 pitches.
And I think from a mental standpoint, this is something that Michael Lorenzen has wanted really since 2016. When he had the elbow issue, there was a little question mark as to the health of that elbow and how long he could actually go after being just a closer in college. And I think there are a lot of worries in the Reds organization. I think there still are, but you got to figure it out sooner or later what you're going to do with it. I don't know that you can get more put together than Michael Lorenzen and be a pitcher.
So we mentioned this year, 3 times he's worked at least 4 innings. There have been 3 other times he's pitched at least 3 innings. So, you know, oftentimes a big difference between a reliever and a starter. You come in an inning, then you go sit down for a little while. You come back out there. Lorenzen's used to that even as a reliever.
But the key for Michael here, especially early in this ball game, Tom, is going to be pitch efficiency within the strike zone. He can't have long innings or he's just not going to be able to survive.
Well, like here, we've had 3 pitches missed just off the strike zone, and now it'll be the 5th pitch to the first batter. And right there, he just decided, all right, we're going to challenge the guy right down with a fastball, and it's fouled out of play by Granderson.
And that's really what you have to do if you're Lorenzen at this point, especially early in the ball game. You've got to go right at him turn up the aggressiveness of the Brewers. Not that they're not already aggressive.
Well, every single one of those was snuggled on the edge of the plate, but it's a leadoff walk. Brett Council's lineup. Yelich coming up. That's right. Here he comes. Here's the big round of applause. Kane, Shaw, Aguilar, Moustakas, Stoke, Pena, Anderson.
I think there were a few of those pitches Michael thought that he had for strikes, but the bottom line is he's got to make him swing the bat. When you're on a limited pitch count, it's not like you can go out and try to strike out everybody that walks up there. You've got to make them hit your pitch in a certain area of the zone, make them hit the ball on the ground or pop it up.
Yelich last night became the 5th player in Major League history, the 3rd since 1900, to hit for the cycle twice in the same season, and the 1st ever to do it against the same team. There you see Long John Riley. Cowboy faced him one night. Chip O'Neill, and that's not the former Speaker of the House. Babe Herman, Aaron Hill in 2012 with Arizona. That Tip O'Neill is Canadian, and the Canadian Player of the Year, which Joey Votto wins that award seemingly every year. Larry Walker forever won it every year. Given away to Major League Baseball's top player who hails north of the American border. One ball and 2 strikes on Yelich. Overall, 31 bombs. Told you 318 batting average, tied for the top spot with Scooter Gennett going into play tonight. 93 runs batted in for Yelich. 15 of those in the last 5 games against the Reds.
Sign I did not see Barnhart throw down in that sequence was a curveball. Maybe he'll pull a rabbit out of his hat right here and throw him a hook.
Well, nowhere close there. Missing play outside. 2-2 to Yelich.
The backdoor cutter there, and that one came out of his hand a bit early. And he does it again. You can't stay in one spot with Yelich. He's got power at all fields. He's got quick hands. You've got to mix up in and out, and you've got to add and subtract off the fastball.
Once more the 2-2 after a pair of foul balls. Strike 3 called. That's that high strike we saw called in the game last night.
Backdoor cutter twice away. The final pitch, this cutter inside. It is elevated, but it is at the top of the strike zone, and Lorenzen gets the called strike 3.
Yelich knew it. I mean, he gave a long look at it, but he knew it. Now Lorenzo Cain, 309 batter, 10 homers, 37 batted in. We mentioned last night he is second only to Joey Votto among all National League players in on-base percentage so far this year, up over 400. Right at 400, in fact, going into play tonight. Excuse me, swing. Lorenzen will get one. They get 2, so that tidies it up as far as the pitch count is concerned. That gets him right to 15. And a scoreless inning, most importantly. And that's where Craig Counsell's team has really kicked things into gear to make a run at the Cubs for the top spot in the NL Central. Look at Tampa Bay, 21-5. That's unbelievable. Brewers the best record in the National League. You're right. 21-5, and I think even some pretty hardcore baseball fans couldn't tell you 3 players on that team. I mean, they've at least put themselves in a position where it would take a miracle finish. They're 6.5 games behind Oakland for the second American League wildcard spot. But they are 17 games over 500 this year, the Tampa Bay Rays. That's incredible, isn't it? 83 wins for that team. And you're playing the Red Sox and the Yankees 19 times a year.
And this is the same team the Rays were talking about that were starting their games with members of their bullpen, and then they would bring the starters on.
Hey, you got to admire thinking out of the box a little bit when things are going south. Why not?
Whatever it takes. Just win, baby. Just win.
2-2 on Phillip Ervin. Reds lead 2-0 on a first inning 2-run home run by Jose Peraza. 3-2. Phillip gone swinging, first of the night for Chase Anderson. Here are the numbers Cowboy made reference to. Getting 4 days off in a 5-man rotation, and the difference due to an off day or skipping him by the extra day.
Well, Chase Anderson would be one of those starting pitchers that would be all up for a 6-man rotation. That extra day seems to help him. The numbers prove it out.
Here's Mason Williams getting a start in center for Billy Hamilton tonight, and smokes one into right center field. This baby will be cut off, and not before Williams will come hustling in with a 1-out double.
Swing at the first pitch. The majority of these first pitches that we have seen from Anderson are fastballs where he tries to get ahead in the count.
All right, so let me ask you. I mean, you were always a guy who paid a lot of attention to a number of things. You talked a little bit about last night, body language, things like that, right? I mean, how long, if you're a starting pitcher, does it take to figure that out? start spinning something
You
up
would
there
think
in the first pitch.
two or three hitters in.
Or if not him as catcher.
Either that or you make a better first pitch.
Okay. Well, there's first pitch breaking ball there.
But the problem is if you're not accustomed to throwing a first pitch breaking ball, you try to make it too good as he did there. It's 1-0.
Yep.
Now you got to pitch behind in the count.
On the ground, this will not advance the runner. Takis took a little while to look Williams back. And not that that's as important with already one out in the inning. That becomes a second out of the inning. But of course, there are a lot more ways you can score from third than you can score from second base. So here is Michael Lorenzen. 4 home runs, 9 runs batted in, better than a .300 hitter. 3 of the 4 home runs have come against the Milwaukee Brewers this year.
I wonder if Lorenzen will be looking for that first pitch fastball.
Well, he gets the first pitch breaking ball. And to Michael. 2 balls and no strikes. They're pitching him like a hitter. They should.
First pitch breaking ball, second pitch change up, down.
It's so interesting, even looking up and down the Reds bench. Normally when a pitcher comes to the plate, there's a lot of talking and guys looking at each other and not expecting a whole lot. Let's be honest about it. I mean, it is what it is. When this guy comes to the plate, I mean, guys are zeroed in on his at bat.
They'll say no, he's got a chance to go deep.
This guy's a ball player. 3 balls and a strike. I still maintain the Reds should be giving this guy some chances in the outfield. And maybe I'm the lone voice of the wilderness. Doesn't make me wrong, doesn't make me right. There you see his last 5 plate appearances. 3 hits. Including a 3-run big fly on the 29th against these Brewers. And I tell you, the other guy who's all in favor of getting some playing time in the outfield is the guy who's in that batter's box right now. If they asked him to do it, he would say, how fast can I get there?
I think he would do well.
How about that at bat? Draws a walk.
Well, I'll say this. Chase Anderson just pitched Michael Lorenzen like he was Babe Ruth. That's what it ends up being. And you end up walking him.
Guy can hit, the guy can run. In a conversation we had with him a couple of weeks ago, and he talked about one of the things he likes about college baseball a lot better than pro baseball is that in the college game, you don't get put into a little box and pigeonholed. If you can do a lot of things and help your team win games, they're going to utilize all of those talents. You get in professional baseball, and more times than not, there are exceptions. We've seen a couple of here recently, but more times than not, you're either this or you're that, and we're not even going to be open to the idea of something else. You can understand all the reasons why somebody wouldn't be open. You know, it's understandable. Injury and fatigue and all those kinds of things. But, you know, over the course of this year, which right now is moving along the lines of another 90-loss season, it might not have been a bad idea to give it a go. We've been talking about that for months, so that's not like hindsight here in mid-September.
Well, I think we have seen now a couple of years where Lorenzen has either been hurt out of spring training or hurt during the season. And that's when he's only been pitching, not playing a position or switching back and forth, and the different work that goes into it. I think ultimately it just depends on where the Reds foresee the future of Michael Lorenzen. If it's as a closer, he'll never see the outfield.
Oh, you're right. Foul.
If it's as a starter, he'll never see the outfield.
Right.
If it's as a middle guy, pitch 3 innings here and then we'll let you hit, then he's got a chance. But the key to that is if you're pitching in the middle innings and you're pitching 3 innings at a time, the chances of you making the maximum amount of dollars for your ability are going to be much less. If you're closing, if you're starting, or if you're a starting everyday 8, that's where you make money, not pitching in the middle of the ball game. It's just the way it is.
2-2 the count on Shovlu. And he's gone swinging to retire the side. They hit 2 left. Reds lead 2-0. Roster updates and more. RBI Baseball 18 available now. Learn more at RBIGame.com. Rated E for everyone. Look at the Reds defensively, presented by Ford. Williams to start in center. And we mentioned Brandon Dixon playing for Suarez tonight down at third base. Tucker back behind the plate. Had a night off last night. A 15-pitch opening inning from Michael Lorenzen had an extended at-bat with the first batter of the game, Curtis Granderson, and had a rather lengthy at-bat before striking out Yelich. But he got Kane early in the count on a comebacker to the mound, leading to a double play. So here we go in inning number 2, and the Reds lead 2-0.
Well, what we've seen through the first 9 outs of this ball game is the bottom of the strike zone not nearly as generous as the top of the strike zone. That's something you have to make an adjustment on if you're on the mound.
Drilled on the first pitch is Shaw.
It looked like it caught him on the front ankle. Cut her down and in. That's on the knee.
Yep.
Almost in the spot that Votto got it. And we know that that nerve runs right down that leg and makes your foot feels like it goes to sleep. I took one of those from Benito Santiago. Not fun. Can't even feel the bottom part of your leg. You feel like your foot's broken.
I'm trying to think who the other player. You mentioned Votto getting drilled, and he tried to play for a little while, and then the pain became so much where he was put on the disabled list. Who was a guy that the Reds were playing against, got hit in the knee as well, but it didn't get quite the same spot Votto did. Ended up staying in the game. I'm trying to remember who it was. I am drawing a blank. It wasn't all that long ago. Travis can be able to stay in this game right now. This kind of thing where it really,
you can tell right away when it catches that nerve. You see him, and you can see him now. He's trying to put a little bit of pressure on that right foot, or the back foot, right foot, yeah. And it's just, see him kicking his leg a little bit. It's numb. It takes a while for it to come back, and sometimes it takes a few days for it to come back.
He's going to try to stay in there for a little while, looks like. Trainer's going to walk him all the way up to the bag along with manager Craig Counsell. Hey, come on, this is an Ohio guy. You know he's staying in the game. This guy's an Ada Buckeye. We'll see how long he is in there tonight, though, all kidding aside. It's the kind of thing where
it's just not one of those spots that you normally get hit. If you get hit in the arm, you get hit in the meat of the leg, you know what that feels like. But when you get hit in that nerve that runs down towards the foot, it has a paralyzing effect.
Shaw's going to hang in there for a little while. We'll see. Jesus Aguilar now the batter. Big fella, 32 home runs, 99 batted in, carries a .272 batting average. That's an old saying about he's not even hitting his weight. I don't think .272 would do it. Do you? For the big man?
I don't think so.
No. No, not the big fella. This guy's huge. I'm not talking about him being overweight. I don't mean that at all. This is just a huge man.
Old fella.
Yeah, I mean, we had that picture earlier this year where two of his teammates
were in his pants.
One was standing in one leg and the other one was standing in the other leg. Strike three called, and he knew it. Good pitch by Lorenzen, his second strikeout of the game.
Fastball right over the outside corner. Almost seemed as though Aguilar was expecting more of a breaking ball there. He never even got his body back to balance.
Shaw is really hurt. He's taking a little lead because the pitcher's ready to deliver the pitch, but after the strikeout just a minute ago, he goes back to that bag and had his hands on his knees, bending over. See him still flexing that thing right now. There's Takas, a count of 1-1 strike. Overall numbers, including those in Kansas City. There's Takas, 26 home runs, 88 knocked in. Good player, good acquisition for this Brewers team. Off the end of the back cue shot, 1-2, Lorenzen ahead. Pull to the right side. And they'll take the out at first base. Advancing on to second is Shaw. And Scope coming up with a runner in scoring position. There you see his overall numbers this season, including those with Minnesota, or with Baltimore, I beg your pardon. But in 114 plate appearances for the Brewers, he only has 20 hits. He does have 20 knocked in. Has 4 home runs, on base percentage in the 230s. He's had a hard time. 190 batter and a ton of strikeouts. 1 ball, 1 strike. The week before they made the deal for Scope, he was the hottest hitter in the American League. He was the American League's player of the week with the Orioles before that deal. I thought they were getting a guy clicking on all cylinders. He's been a good player for a number of years for the Baltimore Orioles.
I still maintain it's much more difficult for a hitter to change leagues, especially in a pennant race, than it is for a pitcher. You get used to seeing the same, especially as a veteran hitter, seeing the same pitchers over and over. You know what to look for, you know how to adjust, and all of a sudden, boom, whole new category.
And when you know it, he shoots one into right field here. They're going to hold Shaw. And now he's running through a stop sign, and he's still going to make it. I don't know what happened with Schebler out there in right field.
He bottled the ball.
Boy, that's a run that should not have scored.
Ball got to Schebler, it hit his glove, dropped to the ground. As it dropped to the ground, Shaw came onto the plate. And there's no doubt that the third base coach was holding Shaw the entire time.
Yep. And we know that Schebler's arm is less than 100% right now, going back to colliding into the wall in St. Louis that series before the All-Star break. So that's a tough break for the Reds and Lorenzen. 2-1 game. First pitch breaking ball of beauty to Manny Pena, strike 1. Well, you certainly have to say that when Scope does get hits, he's productive because he has 21 hits and 21 runs batted in. So he's got something going for him. Although that should not have been an RBI.
No.
There he goes, and the pitch is in the dirt, easily stealing second base. Didn't even give him a look.
He was running before Lorenzen even moved from the mound. It's his first stolen base this year.
Peraza to the glove side in time to end the inning. The hit batsman leads to a run. 2-1 at the end of 2. His first trip to the plate tonight. StatCast AI provided by AWS.
3-1 fastball up, middle of the plate. Peraza didn't miss that one.
Take a look at this. This is mind-boggling. Your longtime teammate, Barry Larkin, Hall of Famer, one of the great shortstops in the history of baseball. The most hits he ever had in a season in 1990, the Reds won a World Series, was 185, and Peraza with a legitimate shot to get there. How about that?
It's pretty amazing.
They have just made a scoring decision. And Cowboy, you and I were talking about that very topic in between innings. That should not have been an earned run against Michael Lorenzen, and it's not. They take away the RBI by Scope, and it is a single. The runner scores on an error by Scott Scheffler in right field.
That's the right call.
That's right. And Scheffler would tell you the same. 0-2 on Peraza, to be followed by Votto and Jeanette.
That fastball there was close to the ball that Peraza hit out the first time, but about 6 inches higher, and it ends up being a swing and a miss.
You used to wear one of those things like Anderson has, like that rope thing around his neck when you were out in San Francisco coming to the big leagues. And we showed you last night that long hair. You know, and out there in California, you see a lot of that kind of thing. Did you ever wear one of those?
I have never worn a necklace or an earring or any of that kind of stuff. Ever.
Gotta ask him about that.
Well, you want me to go down there right now and ask him?
No. I'll ask him about it. There's a fly ball in the right field, down the line, long run. That's going to fall a fair ball, and a ground rule double for Peraza. So that's another hit for him. When you're hot, you're hot.
I will say this, to go back to your question. I did wear sunglasses while I was pitching.
Yes, you did.
But they were prescription, but not a necklace or an earring.
All right.
So there we go.
But with the sunglasses, that rope kind of a necklace would have looked very good out in the Bay Area.
It probably would have, especially if it was big time gold. I wasn't going that good at that time.
Jeffrey Leonard was.
Yes. The hack man.
Ball one to Joey Votto. Votto flied out to center field. His first time up. He's been on a real good run here lately. He's reached base safely in each of his last 16 games at a .327 clip, including the 3 home runs and 12 knocked in. The best stretch slugging percentage by far he's had all season. I mean, when you consider he's had 3 home runs in the last 3 weeks, and he has a total of 12 on the year. Balls and a strike on Joey.
Well, I made the mention early through the first 9 outs. There were not a whole lot of low strikes called. Well, the zone has opened, my friend. It's gotten rather large.
2 balls and a strike on Votto. 2-1 is our score with the Reds in front. Chased a high fastball and came up empty 2-2.
It's not normally a pitch you see Votto take a full swing at. That's normally the one he fouls over towards the third base dugout to stay alive for another pitch.
That ball is laced into center field. And Peraza waited to make sure that ball wasn't caught. So it'll be a single for Votto. So now Joey has reached base safely in 17 straight games.
And it looked like Votto was on time with the swing. May have had a little bit of knuckleball effect to it or topspin because the ball got down in a hurry. And I thought Peraza was correct in his pause originally because I thought it was going to be a ball that Kane could catch, but the ball just died as it got out there. Must have had a bit of topspin to it.
So runners on the corners with none out. And here's Scooter. He popped out to the second baseman his first time up, and he didn't miss it by much. Breaking ball, strike one. Really pulled him there.
A couple of pretty good hooks from Chase Anderson. Both of these had some really tight and late downward action.
Brewers already have action in their bullpen. Corbin Burns beginning to throw. Popped him up again. Beat him with a fastball, and this is playable for Pena. That's the first out of the inning. Kind of lulled him to sleep there, and then just snuck one right by him.
It appeared that the Brewers were doing that with Jeanette last night, trying to throw breaking balls early, high fastballs late, and that's exactly the game plan that Chase Anderson has taken into tonight.
Pat Murphy shouting defensive instructions. He is the bench coach to Craig Counsell. And if you weren't with us last night, Pat Murphy was Craig Counsell's college coach at Notre Dame. Murphy was the head coach there. Counsell played there. Murphy left there to go to Arizona State for a long time. And after leaving that position, got into pro baseball with the Padres. And the second that Counsell had a chance to become a manager, he swooped up Pat Murphy right now to be his right-hand guy. It's a savvy pick. Murphy, I don't care if he coached at college forever today. That guy knows baseball. Some felt like he was a little too intense for the college game. He's a fiery guy.
I like intense.
I'm with you.
This is supposed to be a game of competition, am I right?
Last time I checked.
Pretty sure it is.
One on Tucker Barnhart. Would be next. 2 balls and a strike. Peraza the runner at third. Votto over at first. 1 out. Reds looking to add to a 2-1 lead. We are only in the 3rd inning. Foul ball out of play.
Right now, it looks like Chase Anderson is pitching every batter just to stay in the ball game. Corbin Burns is ready to go in the Brewer bullpen.
Yep. 2-2 the count on Barnhart. Struck him out.
Now this time I believe Tucker got a little too anxious. Maybe had opened his strike zone up a little bit too much, expanding the plate, trying to drive that run home. He chased the pitch earlier, well out of the strike zone on a changeup, and that fastball was a good foot and a half off the plate and running up and away.
First and third, none out, is turned into first and third, 2 outs, and here is Phillip Ervin. He struck out his first time up, and a first pitch breaking ball, so Anderson has made that adjustment after giving up some rockets early in the game, including a 2-run home run to Peraza. That was not on the first pitch in the at-bat. He allowed a couple of other hits, including Mason Williams, Scott Scheffler. Anderson ahead of Ervin at 0-2. Reds trying not to miss this chance, a golden chance here in this third inning. First and third with nobody out after a double by Peraza and a single by Votto. But since then it's been a foul out by Jeanette, a strikeout to Barnhart, and it's 0-2 on Ervin. Opportunity missed. 2-1 Reds lead, middle of the third. Registration is now open. Your chance to be a Reds major leaguer for a week. You get hotel accommodations, access to former Reds coaches and players, a full Reds uniform, personalized home and away jerseys, so much more, so much fun. Register today at reds.com/fantasycamp. And some Reds fans here tonight. Broken bat on the first pitch from Lorenzen in the hands of the opposing pitcher Chase Anderson. 1 pitch, 1 out. Lorenzen can use a quick inning. Doesn't have a gaudy pitch count by any means so far. 1 out into this third inning. Now set to deliver his 34th pitch. But if he wants to hang around for a while, and you know he does, he could use a 1-2-3 inning. Curtis Granderson giving Anderson all the time that someone could ever want, committing the first out of the inning to get back into the dugout. And here is Granderson. He walked leading off the Brewers' first inning. Strike one. So here we go, a second time through the batting order. Lorenzen the first time through allowed only one base hit. That was a single by Scope. A run wound up scoring on that. He's hit a batter that came around to score, and he walked Granderson. So 3 base runners through the first 9 hitters. Scooter stays in front of it. That's a good play. That's the way you teach it. To the little guys in Knot Hole or Little League, whatever it is you're playing. Keep that body in front of the ball. Jeanette's been doing that since he was a little guy in Cincinnati.
Stay in front in case the ball does take a bad hop, which that one did. Got him right at the top of the stomach, maybe in the chest a little bit, able to knock it down and make a perfect throw.
I mean, that hurt a little bit. You can tell.
That's why they pay you the big bucks. It's the big leagues.
You just don't see many guys stay in front of the ball much like that anymore. A lot of guys play it off to the side. I mean, he's rubbing that thing. Comes up and gets you in a sternum or gets you in a rib cage, maybe.
But that Olay play is not really about here. That's down in Mexico in that bull ring where you do the little red flag and get off to the side. Up here, you're supposed to catch the baseball. That's why they pay you to do that.
Well, they're paying those guys with a red flag. I mean, shouldn't they just stand in front of the bull?
Those are horns. It's a holding category. That's life or death.
So you can understand why they are Olay, that deal, right?
I get it.
All right. One ball, 2 strikes on Yelich. Beat him with a fastball, 97. Yelich called out on strikes, a pitch that was at the upper end of the strike zone his first time up. They're going up there again, too high this time. I don't know the last time we saw Yelich chase anything bad. Other teams might see it. We have not. Three-two pitch. And a tapper back to the mound. That's a nice inning by Lorenzen. His first perfect inning. End of 3. He's looking good. 2-1 lead.
Hey, Reds fans, tomorrow's the second to last Reds Weekly of the season. Could Matt Harvey be a Red again next season? And Reds Hall of Fame catcher Johnny Bench reaps praise upon Tucker Barnhart. Plus, are the new goggles the key to Cody Reed's recent success? Catch all that and more on Reds Weekly, presented by Miami Valley Gaming, tomorrow at 6 o'clock, right here on Fox Sports Ohio, or streaming on Fox Sports Go, guys.
All right, Pick, a couple of changes earlier in the game. Travis Shaw was drilled on the right knee on a pitch by Michael Lorenzen, and we wondered how much longer he was going to stay in the game. He's out. So is Mason Williams on the first pitch to begin this fourth inning. Scope moves from shortstop over to second base. And they brought in Hernan Perez now to play shortstop rather than Orlando Arcia. Brandon Dixon the batter. Still Anderson on the mound. 2-1 Reds lead. Fourth inning.
Well, imagine if you're Craig Counsell, if you're up 3 or 4 to 1, you bring in Arcia for the defensive issue. But Hernan Perez is a better offensive player. And right now, even though it's 2 to 1, you're still playing catch up. I'm not talking about the red stuff either.
They're calling it a right knee contusion. In other words, a right knee bruise. We heard Shaw's going to be all right. Good guy, great family. Mom and Dad, Julie and Jeff Shaw's dad, a pitcher for the Reds, an all-star for the Reds.
A teammate for a long time.
Good man. One ball and 2 strikes on Brandon Dixon, who plays in place of Suarez at third base tonight. Doesn't chase that fastball. So 1 and 2 has become 3 balls, 2 strikes. Anderson has walked 1. That was the pitcher Lorenzen, who waits on deck. He's fanned 4, allowed 2 runs, 5 hits. The big blow, a 2-run home run in the first by Jose Peraza. How about that?
It's a great at bat. I think that's one of the most difficult things to do for a young player or a pitcher coming to the big leagues. You want to be able to prove yourself. You want to show guys, hey, I can hit the ball out of the ballpark. I've got great power. But you also are facing guys that have been around a long time. They know what it's like to be young, and they're going to expand the zone a little bit. And for a young player, especially a guy like Brandon Dixon, who has great power, these veteran pitchers are going to test you a little bit. Just like when you're on the mound and you're trying to show how you can light the radar gun up, those hitters are hitting it just as far as you throw it.
Michael walked his first time up. First pitch breaking ball for a second straight at bat to Lorenzen. This time he swung at it and missed it. Cardinals up on Atlanta early on, last of the fourth inning. And we'll give you an update on that game with Brian Giesenslaw standing by shortly back at our Fox Sports Ohio studios in Cincinnati.
That was close. Very quick move by Chase Anderson.
Now Taylor Williams is up and throwing in the Milwaukee bullpen. I told you last night that Counsell already earning the reputation of the modern day Captain Hook. That's what they used to call Sparky Anderson back in the old days. Not going to wait around on starting pitchers to get it together, especially when you're in the middle of a pennant race, as is the case for these Milwaukee Brewers. And he's got a very good bullpen.
But if you have a good bullpen and you're at this point in the season where you're in the hunt, you really can't afford as a manager to allow a starter to have a bad day. And that's part of being a manager. You see your guy doesn't have it, we go to our bullpen. That's been the strength of this Brewer club. Oh, that's a pretty good swing there by Lorenzen. Fastball off the plate away. Lorenzen appeared to be on it. Just had to reach for it right at the last second.
Started two, laid off, and they say he went around on the appeal. All right, so an update from Brian Giesenslaw. How about it, big man? How's everything in Cincinnati? Yeah, the Braves have lost 3 in a row, but the Phillies have lost 2 in a row. They've missed a chance to get close enough where you really consider them to be a contender. 6.5 back with like 14, 13, 12 to go. It would take a miracle. The Braves are going to the playoffs. You take Acuna or Soto, Rookie of the Year. And I know there are other guys. I don't want to leave any other ones out, but they're the two big names offensively. Acuna and Soto of the Nationals.
I think if I had to make my pick today, it would be Acuna from Atlanta.
Yeah.
Simply because he's done it in a pressure filled environment. They've had to have his offense.
And I think his numbers, or at least the power numbers, let's put it that way. The batting average is probably very similar. I know Soto had a very high on base percentage when we saw him last. 0-2 to Shepard, who was singled and struck out. Ball driven into left center field a long way. It'll find a gap. On his way racing to third is Dixon. They're going to wave him around, and he will score on a double by Schebler, and the Reds lead goes to 3-1.
That swing there should just show you the kind of power that Scott Schebler has. That almost looked like he just stuck the bat out there, and it went all the way to the left center field wall. Just kind of a top hand swing. I'm just going to slap it the other way. Not one of those lean back drive kind of swings. And he scores the runner all the way from first. That's a pretty good swing by Schebler. He's down. He's battling with 2 strikes. That's kind of one of those flip it over the shortstop kind of swings. It just happened to hit the wall over the shortstop.
And that's going to be all for Anderson tonight. Craig Counsell's not going to fool around with Jose Peraza, who has a home run and a double. So Anderson goes 3 2/3. He's going to kick himself for the walk here in this inning to Brandon Dixon. He was ahead at 1 ball to 2 strikes. This will be our Skyline Chili call to the bullpen. Reds lead 3-1. We're in the 4th. team together. You're wondering why Craig Counsell goes to that bullpen so frequently and sometimes very early? Well, the numbers would back it up. That's some big league bullpen work.
And a lot of those numbers have been put up by the likes of Dan Jennings, Josh Hader, and Jeremy Jeffress. Their numbers are they're pretty much ridiculous.
And they're getting Knebel back where they want him. I mean, there's another guy that, you know.
It took a little while for Knebel to get back to his prowess that we saw last year, but the last few times out for Cody Knebel, he's thrown the ball well.
So this is Taylor Williams. His number's not nearly as gaudy as some of his other mates. But this is a guy you're bringing in when you're behind by a couple of runs in the 4th inning. Strike one to Peraza, who hit a 2-run home run to left center field in the 1st inning. And Jose, a pop-up down the right field line. It dropped in for a ground rule double.
Well, there's a left-hander up in the bullpen for the Brewers right now as well. So if Williams can't get Peraza here, we may see matchup try to get out of this inning.
Left-hander down there, they have 3 of them. Obviously, you're not going to see Hader or Jennings at this point in the game, so the only one left down there is Cedeno. But Williams will do his job and retire Peraza on the pop-up to the shortstop. But the Reds get a run. A walk to Dixon, double by Schebler. Middle of the 4th, 3-1 Cincinnati.
You know, in the minor leagues and stuff like that, you play a lot of positions, but it's not, you're in the lineup pretty much every day. So that's been the biggest difference. But, you know, as the season's gone along, I've talked to some of the veterans and things like that and just picked up some things here and there. And it's definitely helped me adjust to it.
You know, Tom, I talked to Brandon Dixon today, the super utility player for the Reds, and basically what he said was, in the minors, you know, I'm playing every day, so I get my swing down. You come to the majors, and I don't mind playing all the different positions, but it's hard to be cold coming off the bench a lot. He's had to learn that different role here at the majors, you know, as a young guy. And he said, well, that's the biggest adjustment he's had to make.
Well, he's played first, he's played second, he's played third, he's played right, and of course he's even pitched this year. And I'm sure he could play a few other positions if they asked him to go there. He's done a nice job, good athlete.
Coming off the bench as a hitter, to me, is the most difficult job in this game. You may not see a live pitch for 4 or 5 days, and then they ask you to hit off a guy throwing 97.
Lorenzen began this inning with 43 pitches through the front 4 innings. That's pretty good.
Yes.
He's gotten ahead quickly.
Sal Romano getting loose in the Reds bullpen, just nice and easy right now.
That's all she wrote for Lorenzo Cain. Boy, for his first start since 2016, we're only 1 out into the 4th inning, but so far so good for Michael Lorenzen.
A changeup started in the middle of the plate and just dove down and in. I think Cain actually thought that ball was going to move away from him a little bit, fooled by the speed more than anything else.
I misspoke there a second ago. We've been talking all night. His last start was in September of 2015. I may have misspoken since 16 there, so I beg your pardon.
Well, it's been a long time ago, whether it was 15 or 16.
High bouncer over the mound. Jeanette will throw out Perez. 2 quick outs for Lorenzen going through the middle of the order. Now he'll turn his attention to the big man, Aguilar. Jesus struck out his first time up. And Lorenzen will have back-to-back 1, 2, 3 innings. He's retired 7 in a row. Good stuff from Lorenzen. Through 4. 1 hit. By Wednesdays. By your local Ford dealer, Ford Go Further. And by Cincinnati Children's, now ranked number 2 in the nation by U.S. News and World Report. Does that say to you think he's seen enough?
I would say when you do the safe sign and shake the pitcher's hand, then he's done, and it appears Lorenzen wants to go back out, but he will not. And a great job by Michael Lorenzen here tonight.
I got it. You've retired 7 in a row. You've allowed 1 hit the entire game. You've had games this year where you've gone as high as, what, 67 pitches in a game?
66.
All right. And you can't get a shot for 1 more inning? Keon Broxton takes over in center field, and now taking over on the mound is Xavier Cedeno, one of 3 left-handers in that Brewers bullpen. Williams retires the only batter he faces.
Cedeno has yet to allow a run in a Brewer uniform, albeit this is his 9th game.
If you're wondering, Lorenzen has thrown 52 pitches in this game. And look, it's not a guarantee he's out of the game. So, you know, perhaps us thinking that handshake and, you know, the pat on the back, which normally is what you would see that would indicate a guy's coming out. I mean, who knows?
I think he's out. I think he wanted to stay in.
Served down the third base line by Votto, and that'll be a single to begin the inning. Joey, his 2nd hit tonight.
It's a great piece of hitting. Getting a steady diet of breaking balls from a left-hander. He gives you one away. You stay short and quick and just shoot it right down the left field line. Well, from here on out, it appears it is going to be a battle of the bullpen.
Should be well, they're not going to be able to get it in time. The ball was hit too softly to double up Jeanette. So Votto forced out at second base, and that's out number 1 here in the 5th inning. The Reds have a 3-1 lead.
Number 16, catcher Tucker Barnhart.
And now Tucker Barnhart, he'll turn around about right-handed for the first time tonight.
Well, I can imagine that the Brewers will be happy that Michael Lorenzen is no longer on the mound. They have only managed 1 hit thus far here in this ball game.
On Tucker. Very short lead over there at first by Jeanette. Swung on and missed. I think took a nosedive down and into the right-handed batter.
I think Michael Lorenzen just walked down to Jim Riggleman and asked if it gets to my spot, am I hitting? And he's getting his batting gloves on, so there you go. Maybe that'll be your answer. Cedeno throws a boatload of hooks.
You can see the frustration on Lorenzen's face. I mean, and you know what? You can't blame the guy.
He's a competitor.
I mean,
that's
all the guy wants
about.
to do is play and pitch. He went to spring training this year, and we've documented his injury issues the last couple of years since the last time he was a starter. He began this year on the disabled list. But whatever you've asked him to do, he's done it. Pitch late, pitch multiple innings, multiple times in the middle of games, and you're saying to yourself, I've retired 7 in a row and I need 3 outs to qualify maybe for a win. And I'm not saying he's thinking that, but I mean, I think I'd be thinking that.
I think he wants to stay in the ball game regardless of what the situation is at the time. But you have to remember there were a lot more pitches thrown by Michael Lorenzen warming up for this ball game than what he would normally have in a relief role. And I think that adds to maybe the concern for Jim Riggleman here in the 4th inning with 53 pitches. I mean, the last thing you want to do for a manager when you're asking a guy to make his first start when he's had 42 relief appearances is to blow his arm out.
And Jim Riggleman, in fairness, I mean, he's just backing up what he said before the game. It was right around, 50 to 60 pitches is where he wanted Lorenzen to be. And so, he's nearly at that midway point. So, I mean, the manager's doing exactly what he said he was going to do and exactly what he told Michael Lorenzen he was going to do.
If you're at a point in the season where the Brewers are, yeah, maybe you ask Michael Lorenzen to go above and beyond. The Reds are not where the Brewers are.
Tucker out of there on strikes, and that will be the 2nd out of the inning. First strikeout for Cedeno. Brings Phillip Ervin to the plate. 2 at-bats, 2 strikeouts, 1 swinging, 1 looking. 3 runs, 7 hits, an error, 5 left for the Redlegs. 1 run, 1 hit. And that was an unearned run against Lorenzen. No errors and 1 left for the Brew Crew. That was on an error by Shebler on a base hit. Their only hit into right field that came with 2 outs in the 2nd inning. The runner had stopped. That was Shaw. He had been hit by a pitch to lead off the inning and had a very sore knee. But once the ball was bobbled in right field by Shebler, Shaw, just after a slight pause and slow down, broke for the plate and beat the throw. So the final numbers on Lorenzen, and we'll put this in pencil because they haven't hit for him. He still has a jacket on. Romano continues to throw in the bullpen, which tells you he's coming in, and everything else that we've seen so far would lead you to believe that, but it's not officially a done deal yet. He's worked 4 innings, allowed 1 hit, 1 unearned run. Hit a batter, walked a batter, fan 3.
Well, if you were Phillip Ervin in the on-deck circle and you were paying any kind of attention at all to the Tucker Barnhart at bat, it's all breaking balls.
Sinking liner and caught out there by the veteran Granderson. Nice play.
He got that one, hit it on the nose.
1 hit, 1 left. will come up later on tonight, brought to you by Miller Lite. There's some real good moments tonight as a starter for Michael Lorenzen.
Threw the ball awfully well. I thought he pounded the strike zone about as good as you could after the first batter of the ball game, who he walked. That was Curtis Granderson to open the ball game. After that, it was nothing but strikes with a whole lot of different pitches: curveballs, sliders, changeups.
Well, there is no debate as far as just stuff is concerned, and all the pitches and everything else. And Lorenzen is an ideal candidate to be a starter. Physically, would he hold up? The arm hold up?
Well, I think that's the key. Is will the elbow hold up? The body, I think, he got about as good a body as you could ask for.
There's no
he
doubt.
is put together.
He looks like a football player. So Sal Romano facing Moustakas to open up this 5th inning. And he'll take care of him on a pop fly to center field. Number 11th appearance out of the bullpen for Sal Romano. His ERA as a reliever, 3.7. He's worked now 10 innings and allowed 4 earned runs. The ERA up over 5.5 in 24 starts. Where do you think his future lies looking ahead to 2019?
Well, I think that when you get to spring training, he'll be in the mix for the starting rotation, but ultimately it comes down to results. And a 5.5, 6 ERA out of the rotation, that ain't gonna get it.
Well, he takes care of Scope. Two batters retired by Romano. Now he'll face a number 8 hitter in Manny Pena. Ryan Braun has moved into the on-deck circle. Broken bat roller to third. Dixon with time. Throws on the run. Nice work by Romano. A tidy 9-pitch 1-2-3 inning. See the Reds in spring training in Goodyear, Arizona. Each donation of $25 equals 1 entry into the sweepstakes. For rules and entry information, visit reds.com/spring-sweepstakes. That's a mouthful. Some restrictions apply. Speaking of a handful, she's got her hands full. Girls never quit. Brother's got the blue glove going, and Dad's 2 seats down with another one crawling on him. Big League Reds fans there.
When you just get your nachos, popcorn, and Coke, you sit down. Honey, gotta go to the bathroom. Did you take it back to the bathroom?
Spot on there.
Well, here's the night. You eat the nachos. All right. I'll be right back.
Yeah, well. Mason Williams retired on the roller back to Cedeno, beginning his 2nd inning of work. Now it'll be Brandon Dixon. Dixon had a very, very solid plate appearance his last time up. Fell behind 1 and 2 to Chase Anderson. 1 out, nobody on. Wound up drawing a walk and then scored on the double by Scott Shepley. Cedeno does his job. Goes an inning and a third, allows a hit and a strikeout, no runs. Corbin Burns when we come back.
It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cincinnati Reds.
It's already the 4th pitcher used by Craig Counsell, the Milwaukee manager here tonight, right-hander Corbin Burns. He's had a very good year. Striking out nearly a batter per inning, opponents hitting .212, and he's been the man, the right place at the right time. When you see a guy who comes into games like this, what has happened 5 times without a loss is he comes into a game, they're behind. Say in this case, he gets a final 2 outs here in the 6th inning. The Brewers score and take the lead late. He becomes the pitcher of record. Of course, it can happen in a tie game too. He comes in.
We referred to those as bullpen hawks. Swoop in and get that win.
You know what?
Whatever it takes.
That's exactly right. That's Lady Luck. Got pretty good stuff too, by the way.
Firm fastball. Looked like it was right over the outside corner. It draws a swing from Dixon after a couple of breaking balls that were awfully good as well. As Romano hits here, I can almost imagine what the press conference will be as long as the Reds win this ball game. And talking to Lorenzen, the first thing he's going to talk about is eyeballing the pitcher and drawing that walk, and then he's going to be frustrated that he chased that changeup off the plate and struck out the next time up. And then the reporters are going to say, no, we're talking about the pitching. You're right. How the pitching feel?
Well, Romano's going to get a chance at bat. Obviously, they'd like him to hang around. Who knows? 2-3 innings. We'll see. At least get through the 7th. And then, at that point, you bring in Hughes or Rysell to try to finish him off. Or get him through the 6th, I think. The Reds are batting here in the 6th inning. 7th inning, maybe you go Hernandez and Hughes, then Iglesias.
I think Corbin Burns thought he had strike 3. He was walking to the dugout, and as Pena threw the ball back, I wasn't sure if he was going to catch it.
It's 2 in a row. And his catcher's saying, hey, look, it's all fine now, but it's 3-2. You see him just try to settle him down. Here's a target. Romano puts it in play, but he'll barely reach the first base bag, and it's dropped to first. Jose Peraza plays long ball, 2-run home run. Reds were off and running. Brewers would get a run in the 2nd, but the Reds scored in the 4th on a 2-out double by Schebler after a walk to Brandon Dixon. Big story tonight. First start since September 2015 for that man, Michael Lorenzen, and he was very sharp. 4 innings tonight, 1 hit, 1 run unearned.
Not sure you can throw the ball a whole lot better than what we saw from Michael Lorenzen in his 4 innings of work.
Well, only 2 batters faced by Burns. He gets a strikeout and a ground out. So he'll be taken down for a pinch hitter. So they're going to work through that whole Brewer bullpen if they have to tonight. Tyler Saladino is about it. We're in the bottom of the 6th inning. Reds lead 3-1. Here in inning number 6. 9-1-2 in the 6th. Granderson and Yelich to follow.
believe the Brewers have 14 pitchers in the bullpen, so they should be good to go.
Oh yeah, they got a whole pipeline up down there. September call-ups. Romano, at least through the first 4 batters, looks about as good as he will look through 4 batters all year. I mean, darting and diving all over the place. Dan Jennings is the left-hander getting loose right now in the Brewer bullpen.
There's some points in time, Tom, where you've got a pitcher that's been a starter for the majority of the year. You put him in the bullpen. You bring him into the ball game like Jim has done with Sal Romano. You increase the aggressiveness. And I'm talking about aggressiveness within the strike zone instead of nitpicking and trying to get swing and misses all the time. If a guy like Romano can translate that into his starting role, it becomes a start like we saw from Lorenzen tonight. Yeah, you're going to strike out 3 or 4, maybe 5 batters, but you're going to pitch to contact.
Ball hit a long way by Granderson. And what an over-the-shoulder catch made by Mason Williams. Billy Hamilton-esque out there by Williams. What a play.
Wow. That
is a great play made by Williams. That ball was hit a ton.
Well, the ball was definitely hit over the head of Williams. He had to turn and sprint to the wall. You can see him checking the wall. As soon as his feet hit the track, he extends the glove out over the shoulder and then slams into the wall. That had a little Willie Mays element to it.
You're right. He said it was in left center, not right center. And there's a base hit by Yelich. He had been hitless in 2 at-bats tonight. Well, what a great play, and obviously an important play in a 3-1 game. Because that base hit right there would have brought him in. Can't rest comfortably against this Brewer team. Keon Broxton, at one time a regular in this Milwaukee outfield, along with Domingo Santana before they brought in Kane and Yelich. Broxton wound up spending a lot of time down in the minor leagues this year. He's only been with a big league club 41 games, up and down 3 different times.
Santana.
Yep.
And Santana, I think, hit 30 home runs last year.
He did.
And has spent the bulk of his season in AAA.
I'm a little surprised, although they brought in Broxton for defense because Kane left this game. We don't know if he's injured. Would make a lot of sense otherwise that Lorenzo Kane would come out of a game very early in a game, of a close game.
Right. I would agree with you on that.
Runner goes, and easily stealing second base is Yelich, and that makes him a 30-20 player. 30 or more home runs, 20 or more stolen bases in the same season for Christian Yelich. See, only the 3rd player in the history of the franchise to do it. The great Tommy Harker back in 1970 and Ryan Braun in 2009.
Got a couple of historic nights. Cycle last night, 30-20 here tonight.
2-2 on Broxton with 2 outs. let's see if Romano can pick up this final strike and final out here in the 6th inning with a runner in scoring position. He does. What's a wicked pitch right there. Down and away from Broxton, who goes down swinging, and a big play made by Mason Williams. Off to the 7th. Reds lead 3-1.
Five years ago today was Billy Hamilton's first start. It's this day in Reds history, brought to you by Geico. Billy Hamilton becomes the first Major League Baseball player since 1920 to steal 4 bases in his first Major League start. Hamilton went 3 for 4 with 2 walks, 2 runs scored, and an RBI to go along with those 4 stolen bases. Since making his debut that September day, Hamilton has 274 stolen bases. 28 more than any other player in baseball, but he has yet to win a stolen base title. Very interesting, Tom.
It is. It was injuries 2 years in a row where Hamilton went down, was the league leader in stolen bases, and then wound up getting passed. A couple of years ago, it was by the former Brewer Jonathan Villar. Dan Jennings, left-hander, takes over on the mound. And the Reds have the top of their batting order here in the 7th inning. Excellent work by Sal Romano in relief of Michael Lorenzen. That's 1 pitch and 1 out. Aguilar will beat Scheffler to the bag.
Shortstop, Jose Peraza.
Jennings, durable, been around a long time. His 70th game of the year. By and large, has thrown the ball very well. Of course, we remember when he gave up that home run to Scooter Gennett. Remember when he walked in, the first pitch he threw. And most of the time, he's been able to do exactly what Craig Counsell, along with most of his bullpen, what they're asked to do. Let's get people out and keep their team in the game, and that we've seen from the Brewers bullpen here tonight. All 3 runs the Reds scored came against a starter, Chase Anderson. They got 1 out from Williams, an inning and a third from Cedeno, 2 outs from Burns, allowing only 1 hit. And now 1 out recorded by Jennings. It's 2 balls and a strike on Peraza. 2 of 3 in the game. High fly ball to the left field will back up Yelich. 2 out. That's good breaking ball right there to Votto. Strike one. Lee Butler. The Cowboy says Butler.
The key is that it was a strike.
So is that, although Votto's not so sure.
May have gotten the benefit of the call there. But if you come out of the bullpen pounding the strike zone, a pitch that may be borderline, you're going to get more chances of getting that called for a strike than if you're bouncing it all over the place and hitting the backstop in the air.
We've seen some guys throw fastballs and bounce 5 feet in front of the plate this year. I know you're always a big fan of that. Jennings saying, wait a minute now. That was better than the other one.
The makeup calls, but that's what that was.
Against a shift, and this will be a base hit for Votto, his 3rd hit tonight. 3 singles.
There, the last 2 at bats for Votto. And I don't know that you can actually do this as a hitter, but he's just hit it where they weren't at. Almost as though he was serving the ball right on the baseline with a tennis racket. I'm going to tell you, folks, that hitting stuff is not that easy. But Votto makes it look that way sometimes.
Been amazing. You're right. These last 2 at bats, they had the shift, and he just served one down the 3rd base line his last time, and now that one. Unbelievable. Just unbelievable. I think that's what Aguilar's over there talking to him about. Big fella loves to talk over there now. Aguilar. I'm not sure anybody talks in a league more than he does. Look at it, he's rubbing that boiler too. Yeah, that ain't to eat since about 5p. Big fella. You like that, don't you?
I do like that.
We were talking about him last time. We love this guy. He's a fun guy to be around, man. Loves smiling. There's a drive into right center, and it's caught in front of the wall to end the inning.
Hit it good.
They did. Gave it a ride. That was the guy homing off the last time. We'll get ready for Reds action 30 minutes before the start of every game on Fox Sports Ohio. Call it Reds Live, presented by Ray St. Clair Roofing. And tomorrow night, the series finale. Matt Harvey coming off an excellent start. And he'll be opposed by the former Washington National left-hander. The Reds really roughed up Gio Gonzalez earlier this year when they were in D.C. Remember that?
Yes, I do.
So here we go in the bottom of the 7th inning. Hernan Perez to lead things off. Romano has been dominant through his first 2 innings behind Lorenzen. That takes care of Perez to begin the inning. I don't know if I've seen Romano look this sharp. I know he's had some very good starts this year, but his stuff looks so crisp here tonight. What do you think? You know more about it than I ever will.
I think he is aggressive within the strike zone. His stuff has never wavered, whether he's had bad games or good games. There's no doubt he has the physical tools to be successful up here as a starting pitcher or at the back end of the bullpen. The key for Romano always comes down to control of his body and command of his pitches.
And Aguilar bangs one into center field, a base hit, his first hit tonight. So the tying run comes to the plate. I mean, the duo of Lorenzen and Romano have been in such complete control of this game that it's easy to lose track on kind of where we are with the score of this game. Because now all of a sudden the tying run comes to the plate. We're going to see a lot of this going on now with Jim Riggleman, as he has his left-hander Amir Garrett ready in the bullpen. And you have the left-handed batting Moustakas coming up. Good job by Romano, really good. 2 1/3. Strikes out 4, doesn't walk a batter, allows 2 hits. Back in a minute. Bottom of the 7th inning. Left-handed batting Mike Moustakas is coming up, and the Reds will counter with the left-hander Amir Garrett.
And with Jonathan Scope waiting on deck, you bet your bottom dollar Jim Riggleman is hoping for a double play ball here.
Well, you have David Hernandez ready. He was getting loose alongside Amir Garrett in the bullpen. They've got some big-time options on that bench tonight. You've got Thames, a left-handed batter. If you bring in a right-hander, you got Ryan Braun sitting down there. You got Domingo Santana, who is delivered pinch hit home runs in each of the last 2 games. Brewers have set a franchise record already this year with 10 pinch hit homers, including each of the last 2 games. The count of Moustakis. 2-0.
Well, Votto was talking with Aguilar after Votto's hit, and now Aguilar is talking with Votto again after Aguilar's hit at first base.
This could be that double play ball if they can hurry it up, and they will turn it over. You called it, Cowboy, right there. That's what Jim Riggleman's looking for. Good job by Garrett. Boy, the Reds bullpen tonight's been great. All right, Sam. Brian. Top of the 8th inning. 3-1. Jennings still on the mound, beginning his 2nd inning of work. And as those guys just talked about, everybody that's been on that mound tonight for the Redlegs has been lights out. The trio of Lorenzen, Romano, Garrett. 3 youngsters on this Red staff, and they've allowed 1 run on 3 hits. Line to the left, and Tucker Barnhart has a base hit, his first tonight. 1 for 4.
And that's going to be all she wrote for one Dan Jennings.
So he goes an inning plus, allows 2 hits. So far, no runs. That man belongs to him over there. Doesn't walk about him, nor does he strike out about him. Jacob Barnes will come on from the bullpen. Back in a minute. They are taking on the Ohio University Bobcats this week, who just lost for the first time at Virginia the other day. Bearcats Insider tomorrow after the Reds game on Fox Sports Ohio, streaming on Fox Sports Go. I root for UC against everybody, except the Ohio University. You got to stick with your alma mater. Am I right, Cowboy?
You are correct. And you and I talked about alma maters last night, along with one Jeff Picoro.
Yes, we did. And I want to know, before the end of the game tomorrow night, as Jacob Barnes comes on, what your guys' bet is going to be for that game, because I got to leave for the weekend. You're going with a team to Miami.
Look, I have high confidence in my boy.
So would you be Pick? Are you down there?
I'm here, and I've got high confidence in my Wildcats.
Okay, well, look, we showed the video of when my Ohio University Bobcats lost to the Kentucky Wildcats in football a couple of years ago, and you know, the loser had to take a pie in the face from the other guy, right?
Yep.
Right now, I mean, this isn't, United Nations stuff here, but are you willing for that pie in the face wager pick?
I've got no problem with it because it ain't going to happen to me.
Cowboy?
The bet is pie in the face, then.
Oh,
you better
can't wait for next week.
Better bring you a big towel, son.
That'll be Tuesday night on Reds Live, the pregame.
Cannot
wait.
Can you imagine trying to get the pie out of his hair? Ashley will not be happy.
I am fired up. Both of you guys have stepped up to the plate again for that kind of bet. I give it up to both of you. If it ends in a tie, you have to do it to the other guy. Each of you.
To you, right.
I have no fingerprints on any of it.
It's not going to end up in a tie because the Bulldogs will go for 2.
I hope it comes down to that, Jeffrey.
That would be pretty cool.
That is awesome. All right, so now you got something to get ready for on Tuesday night. A pie in the face to the loser of that one. Kentucky at home against Mississippi State. Is that a day game or a night game, Pick? What?
That is a night game.
All right. You'll be working that game.
I'll be in Miami.
Oh, you're not going to be there.
No, so I'll be next to Cowboy. Keeping my fingers crossed.
How many fingers you got?
It's in good hands. Jeff Van Note will be there, Tom. I know you know him.
Yes, indeed. Yep.
All pro.
Oh, yeah. Great. Great. 3-2 to Phillip Urban. Runner goes. Popped up. That'll back up Granderson a little bit, but he's got it. And now he's going to fire all the way to first. The runner got lost, and he is safe barely. I think Tucker got deked out there at second base, and he was lucky to get back.
That was awfully close. I think maybe Tucker thought that ball was hit a little bit better than what it ended up being. Tucker normally does not make those types of mistakes on the base pass. And that's going to be real close now.
It's really close. And so close, in fact, that Brett Counsell has said, let's take a look. Counsell, with a win last night, finally got his career record to the 500 mark. Remember, he took over a team that was reeling for Ron Renicky. Let's take a look here. Still no foot on the bag, still not on the bag. Is it there, or is it still not there? This might give us a little bit better look. It's close.
Well, the call on the field was safe. That's going to come down to about a millimeter or two, or maybe the length of a spike.
Safe is the call.
Tucker Barnhart breathing a bit of sigh of relief right there. That's a long walk in when you got time called and you got to go back to the dugout.
All right, so 1 out in the inning, and here's Mason Williams. The double to right center his first time up. Has since bounced to second and tapped out to the pitcher.
Damon Hernandez is still throwing awfully hard down in the Reds bullpen. I imagine that he will be out to begin the 8th. I do not remember a ball game in recent memory where the Reds and the Brewers have played where the Brewers only had 3 hits. Now, granted, we've got a couple more at bats for the fellas, but that just shows you how well the pitching has been for the Reds tonight in what is ultimately a bullpen night.
One ball and 2 strikes. Well, Jim Riggleman said before the game, he said, look, Michael Lorenzen is anywhere from 50 to 60 pitches, making his first start since September of 2015. 3 years ago. And he got to 52 tonight. He had gone 4 innings, allowed the 1 hit, the 1 unearned run, and the skipper said, all right, it's time to give the ball to Romano. And so far, it's worked out beautiful. Romano looked really good.
I thought Romano threw the ball well.
Yes, he did. 2 1/3, 2 hits, no runs.
Big double play when Garrett came into the ball game.
But look, Jim Riggleman's trying to win baseball games. And
that's the object, by the way.
That's exactly right, of every manager. And that's strike 3 called on the outside corner. So look, while we universally agree, and I think a lot of you at home are saying the same thing as you get a look at this pitch that is called strike 3 right on the lower edge of the zone, that everyone, including Michael Lorenzen himself, would love to have stayed in the game and had a chance to pick up a win here tonight. But Jim Riggleman did say ahead of time what the game plan was. He's executed the game plan. Lorenzen did what the Reds asked him to do. And now they have 6 outs to try and get a victory. Swing and a miss by Brandon Dixon. 1 ball and 1 strike. He doesn't have a hit, but had a very important plate appearance when he drew a walk in the 4th inning. Was behind in the count at 1-2. And then he would score on a 2-out double into left center all the way from first base off the bat of Scott Shevden. Gets ahead at 1 ball, 2 strikes. The Eugenio Suarez has moved to the on-deck circle. That's a pitcher spot. Garrett next. Barely made contact to hang around. Popped up. Keon Broxton camps underneath it. This will be the final out in the inning. Brewers are coming about in the bottom of the eighth, where we see David Hernandez. Tickets. You can take your shot at the Swing for Your Seats event Saturday, October the 6th. This is always an awesome event. You go to the plate, you hit a home run at Great American Ballpark, you get 2019 season tickets for free. Call 513-765-7500 or visit Reds.com/swing. There are rules and some restrictions.
I think some people hear that and think, oh, well, nobody hits a home run. There were 4 last year that went deep.
Really?
4.
Wow. Didn't know that. So Billy Hamilton now in the game in center. David Hernandez takes over on the mound. 4 of them, huh? That's a big one. Hernandez is just an outstanding year. He and Jared Hughes both signed as free agents. And they have been very, very, very good, if not great signings by the Reds last offseason. You can't do any better than they've done.
No. They've been great additions to that bullpen, not only with their pitching on the mound, but with their leadership as far as helping some of these younger guys understand what they need to do on the mound.
Yeah, both rock solid veteran guys. Great temperaments to both of them. Scope hits a fly ball in the right field. It'll be caught by Schebler over near the line. It's 7, 8, and 9 here in the inning, and obviously you'll have a hitter for the pitcher. You got Pena now, although they're going to send up Marcus Thames to bat for Pena. Obviously tremendous power. We've seen it firsthand from Thames in a couple of years wearing a Brewers uniform.
Yeah, I think when Eric Thames burst onto the scene, the Reds were the first team that had to pay.
That was at the beginning of 2017. Now a strike. Overall, just 270 plate appearances. 221 batters, 16 home runs, 37 knocked in. Struck out a lot. But in his career, 14 home runs against the Reds for Thames. And that's 6 more than against any other team. That's when he got off to that incredible start in April of last year. I think the Reds played the Brewers like 9 times in April last year. Down in the inning, and that'll bring up Ryan Braun, another pinch hitter. Back-to-back outs for Hernandez. Braun looks at a strike. Playing through a lot of injuries this year, a lot of back problems this season for Braun. Right now in a terrible slump, and that slump will continue. What an inning. 9 pitches to get 3 outs for David Hernandez. We go to the 9th. Reds lead it 3-1. Or more on car insurance. And by Toyota. For over 30 offers, visit buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. Join the Reds for Fan Appreciation Day, presented by Ace Hardware. Special prizes from Frisch's, Montgomery Inn, La Rosa's, Dunkin' Donuts, so many more given away throughout the game to lucky fans. You can see the Redlegs and the Pirates and be there for as low as $12. Visit Reds.com for tickets. Postcard entries are indeed accepted for that. Kratz takes over after they pinch hit for Pena. And now be what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th pitcher of the night. Used by the Brewers is right-hander Jordan Lyles. One-time starter, former #1 pick. Saw him both with Houston and with Colorado. Billy Hamilton, the batter, for the first time tonight. Boy, the Reds bullpen has just been extraordinary. Well, all the pitching. I mean, Lorenzen was great starting 4 innings, allowed 1 hit, 1 unearned run, only walked 1 batter, hit a batter, struck out 3. He came out of the game 52 pitches into it, making his first start since 2015. Romano 2 1/3, 2 hits, no runs, no walks, 4 punch-outs. Garrett comes in, gets a double play, and Hernandez works a perfect 8th inning. Can't do any better than that. Four innings of 2-hit shutout baseball from the Reds bullpen, and look, equally as good has been the Brewer pen. They've been doing it all year long. Their starter was gone in this game after 3 2/3. They've only given up 3 hits and no runs since then.
Lyles has a great breaking ball, but it does no good when you're bouncing it in front of home plate or it's always in the dirt.
But every time we see this guy, that's what he does. Came back that time with a fastball that locked up Hamilton, 1 out.
Well, the fastball has never been an issue for Lyles. He's got a good arm. He's got some sink on the fastball. But the numbers would dictate he would be a much better pitcher statistically if he could figure out a way to get the breaking ball over the plate just every now and then. But you got to trust it to throw it there.
Here's Schebler, 2 hits tonight. Single, scored a run, knocked in a run with a double. Fastball right by Schebler there at 94 miles per hour. And drop foul off to the third base side out of play. Brewers will have a top of the batting order when they bat in the bottom of the 9th inning, and you know who that'll be against. He's out there getting loose right now, Rysel. Back-to-back called, 3rd strikes to Hamilton, and now Schebler in the 9th.
Fastball into Hamilton, the previous batter, right on the inside corner, and he duplicates it here to Schebler.
Jose Peraza, 2 hits in 4 at-bats, a 2-run home run in the 1st inning, a double down the first base line on a pop-up no one could get to in the 3rd. Ball 1. Yankees beat Boston tonight 3-2. I mean, they're not going to catch Boston in that division. Very important in the wild card. It's a 92nd win of the year for the Yankees. And they're a 2nd place team by 10.5 games. Meanwhile, the Cubbies have jumped on the Diamondbacks early yet again. Boy, the Diamondbacks are sinking fast. trailing 3-0 to Chicago in the second. Cardinals roughing up Atlanta again tonight, 6-1 that game in the 8th. And the Dodgers just underway. At home to Colorado, Los Angeles beat the Rockies last night, leapfrogging them into first place in the National League's West. Balls and 2 strikes on Peraza. That ball is hit hard. And look at the veteran Granderson. I tell you, he's looked good in this series.
That ball was stalled, and that was a nice play by Granderson.
And Granderson will lead off the ninth. Reds 3 outs away, and Iglesias coming on to try and nail it down. Our Miller Lite hold true moment. What a play this was, Cowboy, by Mason Williams.
All the way to the wall, not knowing where the wall is. You're just hoping that you can extend and catch the baseball. That is a phenomenal play by Mason Williams.
And it turned out to be a very big play because the next batter, of course, you never know what would have happened, but Yelich, the next batter, did have a single, which would have made it going into this 9th inning 3-2. Boy, Jim Riggleman has maneuvered this bullpen splendidly, and they have executed the way he's asked him to do it. 4 innings, 2 hits, no runs, not a single walk from the quartet of Romano, or the trio rather, Romano, Garrett, and Hernandez. And now the quartet, as you add in Raisel Iglesias, looking for his 28th save. Suarez comes into the game to play third base. Top of the order for Milwaukee. Granderson, Yelich, and Keon Broxton. Well, how big is that right now, not having Kane or Shaw in the game? I'd say those other guys can't hurt you, but you'd rather face Broxton and Kane and Perez than Shaw. Iglesias picked up a save in that 2-1 decision over Chicago on Sunday. Worked a perfect inning, needed 11 pitches to get through the lineup. Here's Yelich, tying right at the plate.
These folks here in Milwaukee are living and dying with every pitch from Iglesias.
They're into it. Came with a heater. And a swing and a miss to get ahead of Yelich at 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Tried to work Yelich up several at-bats here tonight. That pitch happened to be up, and he swings through it.
Tried to get him to go up there again. Fastball by him for the first out here in the ninth.
Well, blew by you right here. Here it is. See if you can hit it. I know you had a cycle last night, but I'm Raisel Iglesias.
Blew by you. That's a little Linda Ronstadt.
Well, it's a strikeout here tonight. Santana.
Told you he has hit pinch hit home runs in each of the last 2 games, giving the Brewers 10 of those this year. A team record. Well, he just got sawed off there. On Sunday it was against Pittsburgh. Hitting it the other way. Into the second deck. And then a monster blast here last night. Just turned 26. He's going to get a chance to play for somebody. As we mentioned, he had 30 home runs for this Brewers team a year ago. And who knows? I mean, you know, they got to figure out what they're going to do about Ryan Braun and kind of where he is with his health looking down the road. They've got Granderson for the rest of this year. They'll have Kane and Yelich for many years. Oh, and 2 the count on Domingo Santana. And just waiting too long on Iglesias to get the sign. Changeup got him on a swing and a miss. Back-to-back strikeouts after a leadoff walk. 1 more out to go. You've got to go all the way back to 2015, Cowboy. You were wondering. The last time the Reds pitching held the Brewers to 3 hits or fewer in a game. That would be April the 28th, 2015, a 4-2 win in Cincinnati.
Just doesn't happen much between these 2 clubs.
No, and they've been just homering each other to death most of this year. Here's Hernan Perez, ball 1. Perez has 9 home runs, and most of his damage has come against the Reds this year. And he does have a career home run against Raisel Iglesias.
Well, I think if you're Iglesias, you want to get Perez because the big fella's on deck. That would be Jesus Aguilar.
2 balls and a strike. Sal Romano is the pitcher of record for Cincinnati. Chase Anderson for the Brewers. Neither team's bullpen has allowed a single run in this game. And the starters were both gone before we reached the 5th. Balls and a strike. Jim Reynolds. Well, that says it all, doesn't it? Just that big, deep exhale. Just so. Is it ever easy? Fouled out of play. 1 more strike, 1 more out to go. Balls, 2 strikes. Iglesias trying to nail it down. And that he will do. He walks the leadoff man, fans the next 3, and the Reds get an incredibly well-pitched game here tonight, up and down the entire staff. Lorenzen in his first start, 4 innings, 1 hit, an unearned run. And Romano, Garrett, Hernandez, and Iglesias worked the final 5 innings of 2-hit shutout baseball. Doesn't get any better than that. So the boys are standing by in Cincinnati for Reds Live, the post-game version. Big win here tonight for the Reds. Rubber game of the series tomorrow. 3-1 Cincinnati.